Welcome to this monthly training on bloodborne pathogens. Aurora employs a combination of engineering and work practice controls to ensure team member safety. However, there may occur some instances when blood or other potentially infectious material is present in the workplace. Potentially infectious material. Is it possible you might be exposed to potentially infectious material in the workplace? Examples: team member cuts, doing maintenance or repairs on contaminated equipment, providing first aid, clean up materials that may contain blood or a PIM, handling waste that may contain blood or a PIM. Any of these tasks could expose you to bloodborne pathogens. What we'll cover: basics of bloodborne pathogens, methods to reduce the risk of exposure. Bloodborne pathogen basics. What are bloodborne pathogens? Bloodborne pathogens are disease-causing microorganisms that may be present in human blood and other body fluids. The three most commonly encountered bloodborne pathogens are hepatitis B virus, HBV, hepatitis C, HCV, human immunodeficiency virus, HIV. What are bloodborne pathogens? Bloodborne pathogens can be found in blood or in other potentially infectious material, OPIM. What falls under a PIM? Saliva, vomit, urine, other bodily fluids. How pathogens are transmitted. Bloodborne pathogens are not transmitted by casual contact. Bloodborne pathogens enter the bloodstream by contacting another person's blood or bodily fluid that may contain blood, mucous membranes, eyes, mouth, nose, non-intact skin. How pathogens are transmitted. It is possible to be exposed to bloodborne pathogens through the use of contaminated sharps, needles, an industrial accident, cleaning up after an industrial accident, administering first aid, janitorial or maintenance work. Safe work practices. General rules. Treat all blood and bodily fluids as if they are contaminated. Do not handle broken glass, needles, razor blades or other sharp objects with your hands. Use engineering controls whenever possible to minimize risk of exposure. Wash hands immediately after removing gloves or contact with blood or a PIM. Always follow safe work practices. Aurora's safe work practices are documented on our intranet, in the Safety Policies and Procedures page. Personal protective equipment. Use appropriate protective equipment whenever risk of exposure exists. On attached screenshot below you can see risk in PPE associated with the risk. Risk bleeding control. Protective equipment latex gloves. Risk spurting blood. Protective equipment latex gloves, protective clothing, smocks or aprons, respiratory mask, eye/face protection, goggles, glasses, or face shield. Risk post-accident cleanup. PPE latex gloves, protective clothing, smocks or aprons, broom and dustpan, to remove sharp objects. Risk janitorial work. PPE latex gloves. Cleaning up OPIM. Decontamination. After an incident where potentially infectious material has spread, it is necessary to clean and disinfect contaminated equipment and work surfaces. Safe work practice. Rope off area to reduce foot traffic and potential contamination of other areas. Personal protective equipment. Wear appropriate PPE. This includes protective gloves, a smock or apron to cover your work clothes. If any of your PPE is cut in the process, clean the area that was covered by the PPE, and replace it immediately. Cleaning up spills. Soak up all wet spots with towels or other absorbent material. Dispose material used to absorb liquids in double-bagged garbage bag. Keep this waste separate from other trash. Use a disinfectant to clean contaminated area. Solution of 1/4 cup bleach per gallon of water. Wipe up disinfectant solution. Dispose of cloth. Removing PPE. In the process of cleaning the spill, your PPE has become contaminated. Dispose of it with the other contaminated material. Don't get the stuff on your hands. Pull latex gloves off from the sleeve edge, so the APIM is trapped inside the glove. Thoroughly wash up after cleaning up. It's important to note, while you are performing any of these steps, do not touch your eyes, nose, or anywhere around your face until you have thoroughly washed up after cleaning up. Exposure. What is an exposure incident? A specific incident with potentially infections bodily fluid. If there are no infiltrations of mucous membranes or open skin surfaces, it is not considered an occupational exposure. Report all accidents involving blood or bodily fluids. What to do? If you believe you have been exposed to a potentially infectious disease during an exposure incident. Skin, wash exposed area with soap and water. Face, flush splashes to nose, mouth, or skin with water. Eyes, irrigate eyes with water or saline. Post-exposure evaluation. Post-exposure medical evaluations are offered. These evaluations are confidential. Document route of exposure. Identify source individual. Test source individual's blood, with individual's consent. Provide results to exposed employee. Hepatitis B vaccination. Hepatitis B vaccinations are available to all potentially exposed team members at no cost. Strongly endorsed by medical communities. Shown to be safe for infants, children, and adults. If you decline the vaccination, you will be required to sign a declination form. You can request the vaccination even if you initially decline it. Thank you for participating in this monthly training. If you have any questions, please get with your safety department or reach out to your regional safety manager. They will be glad to answer any questions you might have. Have a safe day.